This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Wednesday, May the 5th. Race number 9 at Parx. Nice allowance race. Our coverage is sponsored by Justa Farm. So before we get to the analysis, let me remind you to watch your foal grow into an athlete with Justa Farm's breeding and racing partnerships. Visit 851 Saginaw Road in Oxford, Pennsylvania, or go to justafarm.com for more information. Be part of the Sport of Kings with Justa Farm's affordable racing partnerships. Your ticket to the backside to watch them train and enjoy the thrill of racing. Visit justafarm.com for more details today. Here's the field for Wednesday's Race of the Day. You can download free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. An allowance race, Mike, but kind of a listed stakes group.
Yeah, some talented horses in here, Dan. I mean, I guess the race kind of goes through that New York shipper, the 5, My Boy Tate, who's the 2-1 morning line favorite. I guess his good race is probably too good for these, Dan, but it's a pretty competitive race.
And he is cutting back to 7 furlongs after successfully stretching his speed a mile last time out in New York. Let's look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. One of the nice things about My Boy Tate is he is tactical. He can sit up close. We see several horses that can be close in a blue bar situation, favoring horses on or near the early lead. No blazers. Maybe the one Press My Bets, getting a little bit of class relief, dropping out of the Frank Whiteley at Pimlico. Maybe he can make the lead.
Yeah, I thought that horse would show speed from the rail. All in all, the pace projector, I'm not going to argue with too much, Dan. I mean, I think you're right. My Boy Tate, just the fact that he's so tactical works to his advantage, and that was been key in his last 2 stakes wins.
As for Press My Bets, he had a little 2-race win streak snapped in that Frank Whiteley, won by one of the better Mid-Atlantic-based sprinters in Lakai. So he does get class relief. He should be closer to the pace. He still likely has to run one of his better races to beat this strong field.
He does, but he's very lightly raced, Dan. He ended 2020 with the best race of his career in a wire-to-wire win over this racetrack. He came back off the layoff in March. He won again without the early lead that time. I thought that was a nice performance, and he was just in too tough last time.
The 2 Don't Mesa With Me just scored at Charlestown at 7 furlongs. Of course, that's a 2-turn race. Let's watch that on April Fool's Day. Charlestown race number 3, Don't Mesa With Me. This is an okay performance, Mike. 75 Beyer speed figure. The runner-up came back to win a 2 other than at Penn with a 78, so he needs a little bit of a Beyer boost.
He does. He's got to get faster. He's very lightly raced, though. Most of the damage that he's done so far in his career, Dan, came as a 2-year-old. 1 start last year at 3 on turf. He didn't pick his feet up. He had a very long layoff at Charlestown back in March. He took a step forward in that race we just watched. You're right. He's got to improve again, but he's the horse maybe with the most potential to step forward.
Over the last 2 months in the Mid-Atlantic region, perhaps no barn hotter than the Jamie Ness barn. He's winning about 31% at Parx, almost 50% overall, and he's gotten Wentz good. Let's watch Wentz's last race over Muddy Going, a 2-turn mile at Parx. He broke sharp from the inside post. He was in a bit tight on the inside on the far turn, so he had some work to do once he got into the stretch, but you see he inhales these horses. He seems to be getting good.
Yeah, he's in really good form right now. This is a really nice win for him here. You can see nobody else making any kind of run at this favorite on the lead, but he guns him down 2 back. I thought sort of this thing, he had a good trip, I thought, off the pace in that race, but he made the first move. He put the pace setter away. He held off the closers. This horse is going very well right now.
The 4 Archcat's one of my favorite Mid-Atlantic-based sprinters. He's just a racehorse. He's won 15 times in his career, almost $500,000, and he actually got a graded stakes placing in New York over a wet track on Halloween. Last time out, let's watch Archcat's effort. He's just going to get nipped by Admiral Alex, who wired him on the lead as the favorite. This race has not come back very strong, but just watch Archcat's try in the lane. 92 Beyer, very solid.
Yeah, he's a very hard trying horse. He shows up and he runs every time. You can just see by looking at his PPs, Dan, he's very consistent. The grade 3 placing at the end of last year is one of those that just sort of looks good on the page when really it wasn't all that much, 3rd in a 4-horse field. But listen, man, he did what he had to do in there. He just shows up and he runs every time. He's a cool horse.
Here's My Boy Tate, the number 5. He's been managed very well by Michelle Nevin, who will ship to Parx and win races. My Boy Tate last time out on the Haynesfield. This horse, we know one thing about My Boy Tate. He really likes a wet track, and I think that's what helped him get the mile, which is a little far for him.
Yeah, he probably doesn't really want to go this far, but when he's in form, the kind of form that he's in now, and he gets the trip and ride that he gets in this race from Eric Cancel, which was a great one, then he'll get the mile, Dan. He beats a really good horse here and bank it too, just to sort of add to his credentials. Listen, it feels like he's back in form now. The horse of all the sort of locally based horses, the 4 Arch Cat is the one who consistently runs the fastest races of all those horses. My boy Tate came down here to Parx last year over this distance and absolutely buried Arch Cat. So, I mean, just his typical race is just going to make him really tough to beat.
He's the horse to beat. Let's take a look at our top picks for Wednesday's race of the day. The horse on the outside, the 6, Flat Out Beautiful. I've always been a little bit of a fan of this horse. What concerns me twofold. One, no disrespect to Jeffrey Engelhardt, who's a very good trainer, but he's claiming off of Jamie Ness, again, one of the hottest trainers right now in the Mid-Atlantic. And maybe Flat Out Beautiful is going to need a little bit of a buyer edge with some pace, something he may not get in this race. This is a horse I'm a little concerned that he's just kind of lost his speed.
Yeah, that's what bothered me most about him too. I agree with you. I think he's a pretty good horse. I wonder what kind of trip he's going to be able to get in here. His win or his effort last time when he kind of made it close with Wentz. They were coupled entry mates in that race. I still think Wentz ran the better race, but this horse put in a pretty good stretch run.
Yeah, he was aided by that very fast pace, though. He dropped way out of it, Flat Out Beautiful, angle down to the inside, just couldn't get to Wentz. Maybe he needs a little bit of a trip. I've always liked him. He's going to be a price. My boy Tate, the horse to beat, though, Mike.
I think he is. That's why I have him on top. His last 2 races, I realized that he got really good trips both times, but I think they show that he's back in form. His good race, I think, makes him too tough.
Just a nice spot for him to add to his credentials. 51464 Mike, 6453 for me. The Wednesday race of the day is presented by Justa Farm.
Hi, welcome to Justa Farm. I'm Ann Betch, and my family's been involved in racing for 4 generations. I decided to start Justa Farm to make horse racing available to everybody, because everybody should have access to horse racing. Our horses are treated like family. My husband and I actually refer to the barn as downstairs. The house is upstairs, the barn is downstairs. God's honest truth. The interaction time that you spend with a horse builds its connection, whether you just want to give them treats, whether you want to take them for a walk and let them eat some grass. You learn who they are and they learn who you are. Our partners get to experience the thrill of racing. When you're at the track, everybody who's there is cheering for somebody, and you get to cheer for your horse, not just the one with the funny name. When our partners visit Fair Hill Training Center, they get to experience a day in the life of their horse. Many trainers are too busy to have appropriate amounts of times for their owners and to set time aside for their owners. We make that a priority. We start them and do a lot of the training and teach them to be ridden. But once they need to learn about the track, we send them to Carl.
My name is Carl Doran. I've been training for the last 12 years. I get to ride my own horses, which there's not a ton of trainers that get to do that. My favorite thing about racing is the excitement when you're actually in a race. We try and do all these stages in mind that you're going to keep the horse confident and happy and healthy. Oh, your experience here is going to be awesome. I mean, it's so laid back here for owners. It's more of a day outing, I feel like, and you couldn't come to a more beautiful place as well. So
our sport has gotten some black eyes from people not putting the horses first, and both Carl and I do that. That's why I chose him. At Justa Farm, we do things the right way, and we hope to show people that you can do things the right way and succeed.